Combo breaker!
Hey MTG drafters, it's Nerdphil, and today I'll be showing you some cool combos you can pull off when drafting for War of the Spark. These combos are meant for you to win the game outright or give you some sort of advantage that leads you to win in the long game. Some of these combos are pretty difficult to answer if you manage to pull them off. And fortunately, some of these combos are in really strong draft colors. If you want to see what the strongest draft colors are, go ahead and click on the video above my head somewhere. I'll rank the combos from weakest to strongest, so hopefully this will inform you what cards you can pick up early to have some shenanigans and, actually win the game. Let's go ahead and get started with number 10. Feather and Unlikely Aid. Now this combo is going to be really hard to pull off because it requires you to be in 3 colors and Feather requires 2 white specifically. But if you manage to get Feather early on, even turn 5, and get this combo off, Feather will be really hard to answer and you'll be swinging in for 5 at least every turn. Not to mention you'll get Unlikely Aid back at your end step so you can protect Feather over and over and over again. The only good way to get rid of Feather if Feather's already out on the field is for Feather to be exiled, and that's in really specific colors, mainly white. Number 9, Kasmina's Transmutation plus a zombie army token. Now, this picture is actually really deceptive because the zombie frog is somehow better than the actual zombie army. Yeah, it really actually doesn't make any sense when you think about it. Because the army token starts off as a 0/0, the army token actually gets bigger because you make it a 1/1 and it still keeps all its counters. I don't really recommend this combo all the time because you'll want to remove some big creature by making it a 1/1, but it's really funny to do anyways, and if you need to get in for that extra point of toughness or just permanently make your zombie army token bigger for whatever reason, this is one way to do it. Number 8, Tolsmir and Arlen. Look, I know I'm going to get a lot of crap for this again because I kind of pooped on Arlen and I realize now she's a really good card. Just don't bash me, please. In all seriousness, it's no surprise that 2 cards that work really well with wolves would work really well together. Voja gets an extra counter when Voja enters the battlefield, and then Arlen's wolves that are 3/3s start fighting immediately. People might actually pass you both if they're not in green or white, which again I think is the strongest combo. Number 7, Teferi's Time Twist or Rescuer Sphinx plus any ETB ability or Amass. Now this bounce combo allows you to amass over and over and over and over again if you have these cards. For instance, if you bounce Eternal Skylord or Aven Sentry, just to name 2, you can replay them again immediately. This combo also works with any ETB triggers like a lot of creatures that proliferate, for example, Pollen Bright Druid or Iron Bully, just to name 2. Now this combo is clearly better with Teferi's Time Twist because you can block with the creature and then bounce it and then you get the free block, unless you're blocking a Trampler. Don't do that, by the way. Number 6, Spark Double plus Jace or Ashiok. You want to win through mill? Well, this is one for sure way to get the combo off. Now, you may not always get this dream combo because, in my opinion, Ashiok is definitely worth hate drafting. You might get past a Jace or Spark Double though. This combo is a lot better with Ashiok because you get to mill for 8 as opposed to 4, but still, milling for 4 with Jace is still pretty darn good. Number 5, Death Triggers plus Caius Ghost Form. There's a lot of cards that have pretty good death triggers, and they basically become free the moment you put Caius Ghost Form on that creature. There are a few cards that really benefit from this combo though, particularly. Herald of the Dreadhorde, Goblin Assault Team, and Grim Initiate, just to name 3. What's even better is that you can use sacrifice spells like Heartfire to really maximize Caius Ghost Form instead of just using it as a blocker. Number 4, Watley plus Big Butt Creatures. Now normally in a limited environment, you want to pick up offensive creatures because you want your opponent to react to your battle plan. But Watley changes this game entirely. If you ever drafted High Alert in Ravnica and Legions, you know this is a viable strategy, and there's a bunch of good creatures with more toughness than power. You have Oketra, Bontu, Kefnet, Tomik, Ashiok Skulker, Teo's Light Shield, Enforcer Griffin, and War Screecher. Note how many blue-white flyers I just put out for you. Yeah, it's a good. Number 3, Wartsgo Crocodile plus Stealth Mission, or really any other cards that put a counter and proliferate. Now in my last video, I talked about why Wartsgo Crocodile is actually a really good card. You can check that video over my head. Now 3 toughness isn't impressive, but if you put a lot of counters on this guy, you've basically got an unanswerable creature because a lot of removals are spot removals specifically. Stealth Mission specifically gives you 7 free damage, which could potentially end the game, or gives you a 7/5 hexproof body. Really hard to answer. Note that Wartsgo Crocodile is in green, which is basically the color that proliferates extremely well. I'd recommend drafting him and giving this a shot sometime. Number 2, Spellkeeper Weird plus Aid the Fallen. Now, if you ever drafted Guilds of Ravnica and for some reason you were playing Golgari, you know that if you played 2 Golgari Finebrokers to loop over and over and over, you had pretty much won the game. Now this combo is a little bit on the weaker side because Spellkeeper Weird is not an offensive card. However, you can do this combo over and over and over and also get a Planeswalker to boot. This combo is actually somewhat difficult to answer because with 4 toughness, it's actually pretty hard to remove Spellkeeper Weird, so they have to counter one of the 2 cards or somehow exile the graveyard so that you can't reoccur Aid the Fallen. This is a soft lock combo that will stall you the game for a lot of time until you find your specific win condition. And finally, number 1, Command the Dreadhorde plus the Wanderer. Now, if you don't understand what this combo does, you basically just take every card from your opponent's graveyard for free because the Wanderer just basically nullifies all the damage that you would have taken from Command the Dreadhorde. Now, the chances you'll pull this combo off is pretty low, to be quite honest, because you'll probably only get 1 copy of Command the Dreadhorde and max 2 copies of the Wanderer. But if you do manage to pull this combo, you pretty much won the game. So I hope you found this video to be super helpful and you can pull off some goofy but powerful combos at your next FNM. Let me know some cool combos that you managed to pull off at your FNM draft in the comments below that I didn't mention. Be sure to sub so next week you can see 10 cards that you should buy right now before prices skyrocket for War of the Spark, and 10 cards you should not buy quite yet because I think they'll drop. Thanks for watching and I'll see you next week for your weekly Nerd Fill.